5. I, as a Paingolo, will interview Mr. Simon Monyobo at his residence at number 3 Bird Street in Battle Road, Kimberley. Mr. Monyobo, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to interview you about the history and histories of the Dalton Brothers Football Club. Now, we really appreciate your for you agreeing, to share your stories, whatever you know.
As a young boy, I think when it comes to sports, because my father was both a soccer player and I don't know how to describe his golfing prowess, because my father was not just a golfer. He was a golfer pro ace, because he could do things with golf which nobody understood. And so I asked him one day, I want to start playing golf. And he said to me that, no, I don't want you to play golf. And I asked him, why don't you want me to play golf? He said, golf is addictive. And I said, what do you mean? He says, no, if you are going to play golf, you will lose your wife. You will not be able to have a wife, because golf, once you start loving golf, you will not try something else. And so I got involved in soccer. And I remember my younger brother, Paki, he was now bought a golf set. He was the one, we used to play golf, and we were all excellent in playing golf, but eventually I took his advice and I decided, okay, let me go and play soccer. And I started playing soccer, King George, because we had King George, which was the closed ground. We had the rugby ground for zebras next to King George, and next to the rugby ground we had a ground for Rhodesian sweepers. And we stayed next to all, and then we were at Mr. Sikowa's father's ground, also Black Pirates, and then we had the other one which was now enclosed. What was the soccer team? I don't remember the name, but it was we all grew up in the proximity of soccer grounds.
Is it not Black Aces?
It was not Black Aces, it was one. Their uniform was red and black, and then not shooting stars was in Battle Road, and City United was in Sobantu.
City United.
Yeah, City United was in Sobantu. So that's where I started playing soccer, first at home, and then I got the rumors that either Swartz, my younger brother, or Paki joined a team called Dalton Brothers. And then they took me to the social center where the meetings was held. And that's how I joined Dalton Brothers, through one of my younger brothers. And when I'm going to start talking about my journey with Dalton Brothers, it was not only a journey, because I grew up in an institution that made me who I am today. And I will tell you why. There was this guy they called Squash Detail. They called him Kopkopi. And it is only now that we know why he is called Kopkopi. He was a librarian at the social center. That is where we used to assemble as Dalton Brothers. Botebi Suchware, Mondwani, Sipondwani, I can name them. The Mazabani brothers, the Masimeni, we were like Noko, people, we grew up like not only friends.
Family.
We were a family of brothers. And then what happened? Swartz, the three brothers came together. So Chwareng brothers came together. Mazabane brothers. It was the Gaborone brothers. We were all Dalton brothers. And then you had the Tau brothers from Warrington. Starting from Zom, between Mereki, Pepe. All of them, we were just brothers. And we were just Dalton brothers. So I started in the C division. Yeah, C division. And we were there with the Sochwaling brothers. Swat was also there before he went to Panthers. Okay, Paki was lower because Paki was younger and Paki was more almost tennis, and then he came back soccer, tennis and soccer. But I stayed with soccer. And as I'm saying, Dalton Brothers to me, wow, people, if you are going to ask me who was the best player in Dalton, we didn't have the best player. We had the best of players. Because each and every one who played in each and every position had to be the best. Because you did not only have to compete to be in that team, you had to beat someone who was even better than you to be in that team. And that's how we were made to grow up in Dalton Brothers. We used to gym at King George. And we used to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think Thursday, yeah. And I grew up in that team. I played from C Division, I played B Division, there was A1 and A2. I played A1 and I played A2. We had players like Bill Base, Mudise, we had Between, we had Douglas, we had Skaratringa, we had the group from Johannesburg, Matam, them and the others who came and joined Dalton Brothers when they came into the, I think it was NPSL there, yeah. And that's how we came to grow up in the institution. I don't call it a team. I call it an institution, Dalton Brothers. And why do I say I am who I am because of Dalton Brothers? There was, as I'm saying, squash was not only my secretary, the secretary of Dalton. Squash literally took me by the hand and made me a secretary in Dalton Brothers. Because squash, I became his recording secretary. In the first of all the young boys in Dalton, I was the first to form part and parcel of the executive of Dalton, under the leadership of Mr. Mokoto, who was from Hopetown. Yeah. So, and that made me feel like I was this, I can't say special, but I felt important. But it never got to my head that I was learning quite a lot of things from that one. And through that, the fact that I became his recording secretary, I ultimately became the secretary, and I ultimately became the deputy chairperson of Dalton Brothers. That was when Tom Haboroni was the chairperson, yes. And then there was now this, I should say it was a very sad part in the history of Dalton. We had a team that came as a breakout from Dalton. Now, Leeds did not affect us that much. But the one that really broke us was what we call Desert Rabbits. Because Desert Rabbit broke out from Dalton Brothers, and Desert Rabbits took what we called the number 2 part of Dalton. And the number 2 part of Dalton was the bulk of Dalton Brothers, to be quite honest. And then we, the Monyobo family, I still stayed in Dalton because I never wanted, I never believed there was any other team I could join or go to. I still stick to Dalton, and I was with Tom, and then there was the Kantani brothers, there was the Raseko brothers, and we had quite a lot of, what is this, like his name? Jomobo Nukwani was also there. And then we tiger them, and a lot of money, and then that was Dalton Brothers. But we, at the breakaway of Desert Rabbits, seriously knocked us. But we managed to keep Dalton alive, and then it died off naturally. And then Ujomo Bonokwani came, and then I also had, because now I was no more in soccer, no more playing. I was now in correctional services, and I played in correctional services for some time, and I also left playing ball in soccer correctional services because I was a manager now. And then it was then when correctional services started taking me out of Kimberley, and I lost track of what happened to Dalton Brothers. But for that short spell, I think Ujomo tried to, and I think he's still busy with Dalton Brothers now, but at a lower level. He tried to bring Dalton back, but it was not the Dalton that we know. And as I'm saying, the one thing that really broke us in Dalton was the Desert Records. And that was that. But Dalton Brothers, to be quite honest, now I can't tell you what Squash Detective told you about Dalton is almost everything that I can tell you about Dalton, because now I grew up with Squash, and today I'm a man because of the lessons that I learned from that Topi, Squash Detective. And I can tell you about Ozong Tau, who was the coach. Also a very quiet somebody, but somebody who knew soccer, even if he had only one foot. He knew soccer, he could only kick with one, very slow to run and everything, but he was a very good coach. He had the knowledge. And then if I'm going to single out players in Dalton Brothers, I'm going to be discriminating. But I can quote to you, there was Ubeis Mudise. We called him Pan Size. There was between Tau, only one leg, but he could keep the net second with the ball. You had to Skaratinga, but the one that I can say was the player in Dalton that I can tell you about, it was Douglas Mohansa Tamari. I even cry when I talk about Douglas. Douglas was, Jesus, that guy was good. Mohansa. And he was so arrogant. Douglas knew soccer, man. You could do nothing with soccer. Apart from being the best number 3, he was the best number 9, number 10. Apart from being the best, he even played in PSL. But if we come to the midfielders of the midfielders, it was Modise. If it came to the best number 5, it was Zene Mazaba, who was followed by his younger brother, Opa Jim and Opa Mazaba. They were the best number 5s. I had no position in Dalton Brothers. I played anything that you could give me. Give me a jersey to play, I play. And I would play my best. Dalton Brothers made me, where I went to, when I was in the correctional services, they will tell you, I knew soccer because of Dalton. When I was in college, I used to play with Ubo Mkonde, who was playing for Sundowns. And he once scolded me when we were playing, because I was the first one to give him a chibobo. And I remember that day quite well. We were playing against the instructor, and he was an instructor. Much as he was a professional soccer player, I gave him 2 chibobos, 2. And that whole stadium became quiet. They never spoke to me. They said I was disrespectful. That's how the kind of soccer that we played. And I nearly played for Mamelodi Sundowns of the Zola Mahobes. I nearly played for them. I nearly played for Kaiser Chiefs of the Teenage Dallas when I was in correctional services. But my topi, I will tell you what my father told me. I was at Teflop, and I was recruited to Kaiser Chiefs. And I phoned my topi to tell him, Papa, I can speel ball by Kaiser Chiefs. And you know what was my father's response? Jy gaan nie daar nie. My kind gaan bly nie in Johannesburg. Ek slaan jou gat verder af aan die kant toe gaan. So I missed out on the opportunity of playing for Kaiser Chiefs. I missed out on the opportunity of playing for, because my father did not want me to stay in Johannesburg, because my mother and my father had this one thing called Naman Opa Jeste Sag. But what my parents did not know, I was one of the most stubborn and hardcore people. It's something that I kept away from them. What they saw at home was this young boy who was soft. So I missed out playing professional soccer because of my parents. But I can tell you, Dalton Brothers to me, even today, I wish there was something that I could do to bring that institution back. But now, as we know, society is now, I'm sorry to use the word, is dirmakar. Whatever you try to build, alcohol, unemployment, poverty, and all those things, they adversely affect anything good that you want to do. So it's a pity that Dalton Brothers had to die. And I think, and it's also a pity that Jomo did not get the support that he was supposed to get to try and rebuild Dalton Brothers. I wish somehow we can still come together as the old Dalton people and try and do something about, because if you look at what Dalton Brothers brought to Kimberley and even to the Northern Cape, it is unfortunate that when we were supposed to get support, especially from Basotho Tigers and Panthers, and even sweepers, because what we wanted from sweepers then in the PSL, we wanted Carter London, we wanted some players from Panthers, Mazarin, we wanted some players from Basotho Tigers, Bo Winey them, Bo Bele them, Bo Dinkies them. They refused, and as a result, we were relegated from the NPSL. And that is why Dalton never went any further. People in Kimberley, I remember I was still young. I think it was, when we were told, almost NPSL spiel. That's how selfish people in Kimberley was when it came to soccer. Instead of supporting Dalton Brothers, they refused to give us players. But then we were fortunate to get Opa Nodoba from Shining Stars. Yeah, and Opa played Odeko. He played a beautiful role and he was one of our best players. And I tend to forget this lady from Welcome, Muchantwing. Ace Muchantwing. A very good lady who was also playing in Dalton Brothers. So that's where we missed, because we did just not get the support from the other teams in Kimberley to be able to stay in the NPSL of those years. If they supported us then, I think we could still have had a soccer team in the PSL even years after, in the PSL even years after the NPSL.
Yeah, let's capture the good old days of Dalton, the teams that they played. Especially teams from the NPSL.
It was Big 15, to which came Moroka Swallows. It was Kaiser 11 when they were formed. They first came to Kimberley and played in Kimberley. Bo Ace, Magwegwe, them, Ariel Pro Kongwane, Dr. Kumalo's father, Bengsetori. We played against them. It was the teams from KwaZulu Natal. I remember us going to Masenkeng in Bloemfontein, where we played Mangaung. Celtic came afterward. It was Mangaung United, and then it became Celtic afterwards. And then there was Val Professionals from Val, and there was the one from Belcom. What was the one from Belcom? There was a team from Belcom that we also played against. Real Hearts, Welcome Real Hearts, yes, we also played against Welcome Real Hearts. And then we had I remember Bo'o's mate, who were the ladies from Dalton. Bo'o's mate and what the other ladies who were playing their basketball side. They were the ladies in Dalton. And then we played Paps, Pimble United Brothers. And then we had Pretoria Kelly's Masterpieces Muripe with the boat legs. I remember I didn't know that somebody was so good with soccer. And if I remember the one match of Pretoria Kelly's against Dalton Brothers, I could not know somebody could do such things. Masterpieces Muripe was taking on the line with the poles like that. But Masterpieces could put the ball on the crossbar and allow the ball to dip in the net. I've never seen something like that. And then from the Pirates side we had Tiki Koza and Msomi Koza. Tiki Koza was the left back. Msomi Koza Tiki was the
Chiefs.
No, he was first Pirates.
Okay.
Yeah, Utoko Pirates, Abaya Chiefs. And he was playing left back in Pirates. And then they had Msomi Koza who was playing number number 10. Msomi Khoza could kick. He was also one of the best corner kickers in Pirates. You could put the ball, and there was Uchipa Muloi. We called him the wizard. That doping with the big head. Tibaho's father was very good also. Doctor's father was a backline. Yeah, in Chiefs. And then in pubs you had to Mebra, Tosha, you had to Kongwan, you had to Chili Boy, Koloba, then they went to Pirates. They all played here in Kimberley at those ground. And then it was let me tell you a joke about Uzeni Mazabani with Ukeza Mutau. I still remember it, I was a young boy. Now Ukeza had this thing of dribbling people and jumping the ball, and he dribbled to Zeno, jumped the ball, and Zeno went the wrong direction. I still remember that one. It was one of the matches. Now Kaiser tried the trick the second time with Uzini. Now instead of Zeni tackling Kaiser Mutau, you know what Zeni did? Zeni took his big foot and put it right in the face of the crease. And then the referee ref penalty over. And then Zeni said, yeah, you think you can dribble me now? Come with your dribbling. You know, he took his foot and put it into Kaiser's. He said, I don't want my dom So it was very hard to dribble Zeni Mazaban, because he had one way. If he sees that you are clever, he will not tackle you like that. He's going to sit with his hands on the ground, and whichever way you are going to go, he's going to stop you. That was how Zeni was intelligent. And that intelligence was also in his younger brother, Opa Jim. Opa Jim was, oh my gosh, I don't know why all that talent just disappeared. Opa Jim was he played in Bopusatswana also, but he was one of the best. When it came to number 5, we had what we call Naughty Boys. At Naughty Boys we had, let me start with City Black Aces. We had a guy by the name of Ding Ding. Oh, ace and ace. Ding Ding was one of those guys who could simply, he simply dribbles you like. But when it came to Pajim, it was roadblock. He could never ever succeed. I remember we were playing, it was this, I think top 8, playing against City Black Aces. Opa Jim stopped Ding Ding for the entire 90 minutes. City Black Aces could not, we outplayed City Black Aces, but we could not score a goal. And then on the 89th minute, I remember that match at Khaleshwe Stadium. Ding Ding scored the winning 1-0 goal. After, I don't know how, Opa Jim slipped and a tum-tum goal. And then they won, and then they went to play Arcadia Shepherds the next week. I remember that game. And we literally cried after the game. We all cried tears because we thought we were going to be the ones to play Arcadia. And how we missed that opportunity. And as I'm saying, it was all because of the quality of players that Dalton had. Dalton did not have quality. We had quantity of quality. We had the best of the best. And what destroyed us? Of course, alcohol is one of the problems, And then the fact that we never had exposure. That was a fact. We died naturally in Kimberley. I had the opportunity of, if my father was not strict, I'm still saying it with pride. If my father was not that strict and that possessive, I would have played in Chiefs. I was going to play alongside teenage, because it was the time of teenage. And then it was Chiefs, yes, I was. In Mamelodi, I was going to play with, because Unkonde wanted to take me to Mamelodi, and my father refused. He said, "Yehanidan, you go meishtu," and I had to come home, and that's how I missed out, because it was just that we never had exposure. If we had exposure like this today, we could still have had a team, even if it was not going to be Dalton Brothers, we could still have had a team in the PSL this day.
Could we come to the Dalton Brothers players who were poached by your NPSL teams? because of the quality that they...
Douglas Tamani was one of them. Mikaya, what is this? Matala was a goalkeeper. He was one of them. And then who else? Skaratringa was one of them. Mushedi went to Panthers, but Mushedi apparently also had a chance to play for Kaizer Chiefs, but Mushedi opted to come home. And then Pro Pilani was in Darkies, but he went to Celtic and then ended up in Chiefs. I don't know about more of our players who were poached from PSL, because I know Between was supposed to go to one of the big three in Gauteng, but he never went. Even Base also had to, Base Mutise had to go. Datas went to KwaZulu Natal. I think he played Amazulu. Yeah, Datas played Amazulu. Who else though? I don't remember them all. Yeah, those were the guys I remember that went to PSL teams from Dalton Brothers. And then Johnny the goalkeeper. Mulus. He went to Pretoria. I don't know, did he go to work in Pretoria or did he go to play soccer, because he was the goalkeeper in Dalton Brothers, but he ended up in Pretoria. Opa Jim went to the team in Mafikeng, Butachwana. It was Butachwana. Opa Jim went to Butachwana. And who else though? I don't remember most of them. I don't remember them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you touched a bit on ladies, on the basketball.
Yeah, the ladies, Os Mate was one of them. Os Tiny was also one of them. I don't remember Tiny's surname. And what is Matey was one of the biggest, yeah. Os Tiny, there was quite a number of ladies in Dalton, man. They played basketball. And most of them, I don't remember them. We used to, when we were the smaller Nyana ones, we used to go to their games. The one they used, there was a basketball court here in the social center's yard. There was one where they used to play, and there was one where and there was one, I think there was one, where did they play basketball though? I think there was ladies from Panthers, there was ladies from Sweepers. There were quite a number of lady teams, but I remember ours, it was Dalton, and Osmate was the one who was, the lady who was holding them. And Tiny was also one of them. And what was the other? But those are years ago. But there were a group of ladies who were playing for Dalton Brothers. Dalton sisters, not brothers. Yeah.
Okay.
And I can tell you, I still want to resuscitate Dalton Brothers, but not in the soccer, in something else. I still want to take my two brothers, and we want to make Dalton Brothers the three brothers, because we are still alive. But we want to do something else but as three, just for the Dalton Brothers, because the name Dalton Brothers is not yet dead. It's still alive, but it needs to be resuscitated by doing something good for the community of Kimberley.
Let's capture the day when Dalton Brothers played in Soweto.
To what?
Could you just relay, even if you are not there, but could you just relay the feeling, how Kharishiwi people felt like?
No,
although it's mixed
I know.
emotions.
I describe it with. Now I'll tell you when I got the news of the 2-1 from Aragumed, who was our coach at that time. And I did not know that Ara was already sacked as a coach. And I got this news from Aragumed. I still remember that day in the shop of Joyce Makhele. That Saturday, Joyce Makhele's shop. Coincidentally, I went to the shop and I saw Ara in the shop. And I said to myself, was this man not supposed to be in Johannesburg, because we are playing Kaizer Chiefs today? And I got the score from the radio the Dalton Brothers beat Chiefs 2-1. And I want to be honest, people. Much as I was proud about the fact that Dalton Brothers beat Chiefs 2-1, I still could not believe hore Marela Dalton Brothers beat Chiefs. Nyaman kanivisi. So that's a vote somewhere, man. And when the hype in Khaleshewe became evident that Dalton Brothers had Chiefs, and because of that, Chiefs lose the league. It was only then that I said, hey, Pato, look, have you said he told Regina Chiefs? I was proud that Regina Chiefs, but I could not believe until they came back for base, and the person whose name was on everybody's lips about how Chief Dalton beat Chiefs was Base Mokos Mudise. How he beat Chiefs, because they say Base Ojile Chiefs.
Now, could you explain the effects of the result? You have just explained it briefly, but what effects?
It was like another Christmas in Kimberley. Everybody was canivisi. Everybody was just happy, but sad. I'll tell you why sad. Because they were Chiefs fans. Neman Dalton had been rechamak later Chiefs 80. Neman Dalton had rechamak dalam Dalton speel. You know, it was mixed feelings, to be quite honest. But Kimberley was happy. Dalton had Haven. Kimberley, Neman Dalton mak. So I won't use the word. Jy ken hy kyk van Kimberley. Hulle daai gemaak om vir Chiefs te eet because Chiefs gaan win a league. But I also as a Dalton, I could not believe my ears when Ara Gumede told me, hey, the Chiefs has done 2-1. And I said, the essence of that and the excitement that it generated in Kimberley, it went on like as if it was a small party in Kimberley. People were happy and the Chiefs fans were sad. Pirates were happy because they know no colors the league van because Dalton is a favor. And that's how we felt in Kimberley on that Saturday. I remember it was a Saturday. We felt very happy and sad at the same time. Unbelievable. But Dalton did us proud. And ironically, I think the year thereafter, they were relegated. I think so. I'm not so sure.
You mean, Dalton?
Yeah, I think the year thereafter, they were relegated. Now, with all that hype, and as I said in the beginning, if the teams in Kimberley or the soccer administrators of Kimberley could just have had a common purpose, we would just still have had a team. And I want to thank Uloguzan. What is this guy's name? Pemelo Suunelo. Pemelo Suunelo, I should still challenge him and ask him why did he, number one, sell the team Basutu Tigers? I want to challenge him. Why did he sell Basutu Tigers? Because if Pemelo was serious about bringing soccer back to Kimberley, we depended on Pemelo to give us a team in the PSL. And I still want to say to Pemelo, if I can meet him, we still depend on him to make it possible for us to have a team in Northern Cape. Because let us be honest, of course there's a team in, I think it's Postman. There's a team in Postman that is still doing good, but we need, I'm not trying to say Postman is not as Kimberley, we still need people like Bob Pemelo to come to the party to make it possible for us to have a team in the PSL. Now, if I had the means, I would have said, we would have seized the opportunity of Siwelele and bring a team to Kimberley. But as things are now in the current bad way, we still have an opportunity to steal one of those teams and bring them to Kimberley. Because let's be honest, we don't have school soccer anymore. We only hear of the Masters. What happened to the league? You don't hear about them. You very heavily or that's a team, but that's a soccer is trying. There are people who are working on soccer to keep it alive in Kimberley. Unfortunately, we hear very little about them, and that is a problem. And it's an indictment on us who played soccer in Kimberley to see that happening with us, without us doing something about bringing back. I don't say we should bring back Dalton Brothers. I say we should bring back soccer to Kimberley. And I'm saying to Pemelos Unel, Rawe, ware kolota. Asa wala ngale madi, maar ware kolota om nog soccer terug te bring Kimberley toe.
Okay, sir, just on the last note now. Can you still remember the clubhouses that Dalton had?
Right, I remember three. The way we used to dress to go to play soccer, it was in Maleka Street, Kom Chemistry, remember Chemistry. Then we go to the, what do you call it now? Close ground. We used to dress there. It was one of our clubhouses. And then the other one was in Munchiwa Road, or Resibitwane. It was also a big Dalton Brothers. I think that one was one of the biggest because that's where it all began. Matopo Street. That's where it all began. And then there was the other one where we used to camp also, Koko, Mema, Rabaj. I remember those three. I don't know if we ever used Osmate's place there in Concrete. I don't know if we ever used that place. But these three, I remember them. Because I remember there was this guy who was the cook for the players, Opele Rifles. May his soul rest in peace, he passed on. He was the one who used to cook for the players. And he was the one who used to make sure the kit is after Makar. And there was another Topi, Tate Mokhele, who was also responsible for the kit. And there was another Topi, Tate Blessing. They loved Dalton to bits. But there's one player that I missed to mention, man. Amper Kiss, man. Bradley Belling. Amba I don't know why. You know, it was so difficult to play with a player like Bradley Belling. And I will tell you why. Bradley Belling was a player on his own. Make the mistake, I call it a mistake, of giving Bradley Belling the ball. You will never get it back. You will never get that ball back from Bradley Belling. But each and every opposing player that tackles Bradley Belling will lie on the ground.
How dribble?
That's how he was a dribbler. You will dribble them, but whether it's only that ball playing. That man, I don't know if I should call it selfishness or if I should call it whatever. But Bradley Belling was that player. He used to dribble almost everybody. Okay, Brasquash could dribble. But Brasquash had a tendency, I don't know why. Maybe you will explain it himself. Brasquash could dribble, but at the end he would lose the ball and fall. That was his weakness. And then we had I call him Rashid. I saw it the first with him. I don't know if he perfected it, or was it his thing, or was it Tabure Rashid. People, I want a soccer player in this country, I don't care who it was, who could trap a ball with his head and with his chest, like Rashid. You can kick that ball as hard as you want. I want a soccer player in this country who could trap a ball with his head and his chest, like Rashid. Rashid could trap a ball with his head, and that ball will not go more than 10 to 15 centimeters from his head and fall on his knee or on his chest, on his knee, and then on the ground. The same with his chest. And one of the referees, if I remember quite well, was when Rashid used to trap the ball with his chest and he used to open his arms. And the referee would rap and say it was handball because
it's like yes, caught him.
You know, you used to trap the ball with his chest like that ball would fall. Not. I'm still looking for someone who could do it like Rashid. And then you had Masao, sausage, left and right. I used to call him left and right. You didn't know his sausage was left or if he was right, Bushima Sharp. Yeah, he was very good with his yeah. And then we had, yeah, that's how we used to play. We had players that I can talk about Dalton and the players until next year. That's how my history goes with Dalton. That's how I interacted with most of them. And we also had, we call them what would you call them in there? The Skereke. We also had some of them, I wouldn't mention them, but as a joke I'll mention them. We had a goalkeeper. If he's in the polls, your backline must be the best, otherwise you are going to lose the game. Or Baron Kobi. He loved soccer. He was passionate about soccer. But there was one defect about his goalkeeping that we could never understand. We had Skay Fundi, big one. He loved Dalton, he loved soccer, but Skay could only kick you 8 makarindi. We had Pablo, Babalelo, we call him Pablo. That man loved Dalton Brothers. How come that man could love Dalton Brothers until this today? I cannot. But Pablo loved Dalton. Those were our, what can I call them? Those were our, Pablo was our mascot. There was this lady also man from Naughty Boys with the left hand. What was his name? The left hand man, he was playing for Naughty Boys, he came to Dalton, he was in number 5. Is that Jomo? And then we had one, what was his name? I forget his name, he was in number 2, both leg, there were 2 in number 2. Was that Mapari man? I forget the names of these 2 players. Even in the Messi or Ronaldo, they could not play the soccer that those guys were playing. What is his name, man? I tend to. They played. We played in front of the social center. They were from number 2 and they played Dalton Brothers. They were 2 young boys, man. I'm saying with pride for it. If we had the opportunities that some people had, those boys would have put South Africa in the map. Unfortunately, I tend to forget their names. They used to play, people, you know, the raw talent that you could see. I just forget their names. It was this one from number 5, and then there was this one whose career was also destroyed. He stayed in Pakeri Street. He was a young lady, Shaka. He used to be the best number 3, number 5 in Dalton. He was very young, but they broke his leg when he was still young and he never played soccer again. And that destroyed. And then we had Ulate, Utsabile. Tabile had 2 brothers. We had the one, what was his name? He was killed eventually. He was also playing for Dalton. And then his brother was coming from number 5. What is his name? Daar het het goed gespeeld, man. What is his name, man? He played with Jomo. Jomo Ponokwane was also very good. Yeah. And then we had Danger. I should tell you about Danger Pusang. Yeah, Danger Pusang. Ooh. You know, Danger Pusang. You know that style of his, you know. But what a good player. Basket. You know, those were the guys. And as I'm saying, once I'm going to talk about the individual players of Dalton and what characters they brought to the team, you'll sit here with me until tomorrow. And that was the brotherhood that we shared in Dalton Brothers. We were just like, when we were together, and we were very naughty. There are things that I will never tell you that we did as having played together this afternoon and having done in the evening together. I will not tell you about that one. But we were just as naughty and as wonderful watching us, because we had a blend of soccer. We used to beat teams like, hey, we didn't care. We used to beat teams like, and then I'll tell you one thing that I could. There was one guy that I still don't like him today, but not out of hate or what. Mapari, Kopcha. I don't want that to talk. That man used to hate us like, with passion. You know that whatever he was in the association, we can play the whole year and beat everybody, but we will never win the league. Somewhere, somehow, we will never win. We can beat everybody, but Hopcha, you Hopcha Sabate Delta. And Hopcha and myself, we had this animosity and this between us. Even Lamanji, even today, hello.
Yeah.
Just we never had a chance to become friends or whatever. That Grootman onasa batke dealt in a capella. Then they know, and then was shopping. Okay, shopping was not a break. It was not a break, not a break. But shopping at Delta in her life. And it was no for was Sulusi past in Panze, Bruce, very good players. They called herself, that was for 0, by shooting by junior aces, and that was for Baltas, that was for ace, and what some now? The Bumpy. What is all that? Bruce Balchas, Alaba Balchas, Balaba Springbok, go Valchas and Alabo Springbok. Reverenale ko pentas reverenale bo wine boutique that was into the halbier de manes and then to have us to take us to it reverenale junior ACC reverenale the Anne Bruce van City United that was also Bruce for City United and then the shooting stars that create for Jomo the shooting stars and for what is it now. Als wij ook eens nou als ik ga toka is, dan zijn we gaan naar mijn shooting stars. Wat is ook maar?
Net zo eigenlijk.
Una werken we maar koelen mo. Moet die gaan training. Wat is hem naam?
Oh, ja.
Dan zijn we gaan naar mijn dan zijn we gaan naar mijn shooting stars. En dan we ook Green Point. We krijgen die Brown, Rainy Brown, Young Pirates. I created for the Darlington, what was the man can now? Ooh, that's got dribble. It dribbles Alman. It dribbles Alman, not Petersburg. Just money just got dribble. And then I created for opener, there was a team. I created for Shuping was with the opener, there was a team. I created Naughty Boys. Those were the teams we soccer in Kimberley, to be quite honest. It was all about brotherhood, fair competition. En dat is niet hard, Makari man. Dan kun je dangerous darkies ja Fatima ano. Ik ook Bruce gehad. Baba belong mo Palui niet, mo Malunga. Mo Pepe, hij Bruce van Pepe. Hulle het in Malunga gebly. En dan wie nog toch? Dan kry je die Zulu Supers, daar die hostels. Yeah. Those were the teams. I don't know about the others. We grew up together. We used to have competition amongst ourselves, but our competition was competition for the best. Not competition on after break makar or seer makar. Okay, there's no rubber spirits gehad. Die jare bo Stevo, let his soul rest in peace, because nothing can happen. When our raga fake, Lima Gog, the lang footed. Magog was ook by a fake speeder. But the majority of them, they were professional players. They played soccer, and some of them, unfortunately, Kimberley Semense, they never wanted to go and try their luck outside. And if most of them took those opportunities, with the quality that we had in Kimberley, we also by teams from Gauteng when they came to Kimberley and saw what we had, but also always will not need. Unatama short about Kimberley. I don't know what is so good about Kimberley or wanting to come back. And I am saying if it was not by my father, because my part mistakes was said, hard fella to come and I had to come home.
But say, you know, if you still look even up until today, there are quite a number of players from Kimberley area. Especially in Khalishewe, but now we are now spreading now. You find guys from Cornwall, they play professional soccer. Let's take for instance, we had Jan Malombo.
Yeah, Pakistan.
You know, Jan, you have Pipilani.
Pro-Pilani, Celtic and Chiefs.
Yeah, you know, you had Jimmy.
Jimmy Tau,
Yeah.
he's my say pa. And say pa, say opa. And my ma's Bruce and sister. So my mother was Mary Tau. His grandfather was Jimmy Tau. And his father was Kowoto Tau, who's my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, up until today, we have this like Team Quarter, who is.
I saw him and I was surprised to say, at least talk or it's in Sakape mo mepe. Out of that debris, at least the contact.
Yeah, and we still have ladies from Bo Postman, you know, who are also.
Let's hope they can be supported to bring the province. But now I'm still saying, for us to be able to get that team back into the PSL, we need money.
Yes.
And we need people. The unfortunate part, there are guys, maar ik heb dat probleem met meeste van Kimberleyse mensen. En ik zeg het met groot respect. Maar te barona ba, ga iets horen about Sakai, okay, maybe it's a general thing in South Africa. How do you cultivate a garden today and expect to reap the fruits from that garden tomorrow? It's not possible. Most of us should learn. If you want to succeed, success is a process. And success requires a lot of hard work. And if we want to really have a team that represent Northern Cape and represent Northern Cape for years to come, let us not want to come in. And the first question that you ask yourself, what is that for me? En daar is die grootste wat ons doodmaak in Kimberley. Ek sê, Jens, wat gaan ek kan kry uit die ding uit? And once you approach any project with that mindset, you will never succeed. And that is what is killing us today. Even the businessmen who are supposed to put in money, hy kyk eers hoeveel sit hy in en hoeveel gaan kry hy uit. Because everything in life is about sacrifice. But most people do not want to, they want to gain before sacrificing. And that is why we are failing. It does not necessarily mean ons het nie die talent om vorentoe te gaan. Now I want to say this to you, and I'm saying it again with respect. Ons is 'n team in Postman wat baie goed doen. And the question that I want to ask, and I'm asking it as I'm saying with respect, there are men and women who are beneficiaries from the mining in Postman. And I'm asking them now, who got millions of rands from Postman, van die mine af, Louisa, iron ore. They are driving big cars, some of them have farms, some of them are bragging about the beautiful houses that they have. When are they going to start taking some of the monies that they got from that mine as BEE and reinvest it in the sports in the Northern Cape, especially in the team of Postman? Hulle het geld gevat en hulle se sakke gesit. Hulle lewe lekker lewe, die team van Postman is struggle. Maar hulle het die geld. And I'm challenging them to say, you got be, there are some of them wat ons gehoor, gaat iets met teken, hulle het hoeveel miljoen rande gaan kry van die mine af. When are they going to take the very same money and invest it in that soccer team, ja Postman?
Yeah, that's a
It's a fact.
Yeah, let's. Do you have anything to add to this interview?
Man, all that I can say about, if I can talk about generally, I think we need to try and do something about bringing sports back into our society.
Okay.
Starting from school, whether it be primary school, secondary or otherwise. Remember, that is where we, people who played sports, started on. And apart from the sports at school, sports is a way of discipline. look at what is currently happening in our society. And no, that's why I say I don't want to get involved in politics, because I hate politics, because I'm a very honest person. I will tell you, and it's finished, if you become angry, it's your son. We used to have sports at schools. We used to have competitions. We used to travel between provinces and towns just to go and play sports from school. But that has died. But despite the fact that it has died, we've got a department that deals specifically with sports. Now the question that I'm asking myself, out of respect, but what maak die kantoor van sports? And I think the guy who tried to bring sports back but was taken out of politics very quickly was Jomo Unokwan. Let's be honest about that one. Jomo tried to bring sports back as we know sports in society, but he was taken away because of politics. Understand it? So I am saying, let the current department or whoever that MEC or whatever it is of sports and the people at that, let them not go there to go and get monies to put in their pockets. Let them come down to schools with the Department of Education and come back to come and talk to us, not necessarily us, because when they have to talk, they think you want money. I don't want money. I'm happy with the little bit that I've got. And I know I will never take money from anything that I've not worked for. Let them come back and try and engage the communities in trying to bring back all the sporting codes that we had. We had boxing. You rarely hear something, you see, you go and look at our facilities for boxing and you become ashamed of what you see. You have the stadium that we had for soccer. You ask yourself, okay, Shanties and the player Khafat, Mr. Shanties, we can't deny that one. But why not do something about that to say, how do we bring sports, the different sports codes back? Let's start small, because everything is a process. Because now we've got a fully fledged Department of Sports, which we did not have then, but we had the best sports. But today with the department, we don't have anything. So what is the purpose of having that department? And I'm saying this not trying to attack government or anybody. I am just asking, why do we have, we had singing competitions, if I remember quite well. We had singing competitions, we had Bosi Carlo, them coming to Kimberley, we have shows coming, we had arts and culture alive in this province. Now today, but we have a fully fledged Department of Sports and Arts and Culture. Norman Gaten Mackenzie, they must come to the party. Kwahube, they must come to the party. We need those people to come and bring sports back to the Northern Cape, because sports is going to keep our children away from, if you look at people who are today drinking alcohol, a scandal. If you had big van kinders wat kinders het vandag, a scandal, because they've got nothing constructive to do with it. Even at schools they are smoking, they are raping, they are doing all, because there is nothing to keep them busy with. Now I'm making a plea. Why do we have a fully fledged Department of Sports, Arts and Culture? And if you look at the sports, Northern Cape, and I'm talking about Kimberley particularly. Ek vra as ons kan help toch. Kom jy net, if you don't know where to go, come and talk. We don't say we know the solutions, but come and talk to the people who will be able to. I don't want anybody's money. I just want to do it for the fun and the passion that I